What's up, guys? The Snowman here, ready to preview the final women's tennis tournament of the season, the WTA Year-End Finals. Normally they take place in Shenzhen, China, but moved this season to Guadalajara, Mexico. The WTA Finals set to showcase some breathtaking tennis featuring the 8 best tennis players from this year. So I want to look at the 2 groups for this event, preview some of the matchups, look at the head-to-head records, and make some predictions for these WTA Finals.
Now let's bring up the 2 groups of 4 players each now. A few big names missing in Guadalajara, most notably world number 1 Ash Barty, who's back in Australia after a long stint on the road. Barty is the defending champ at the WTA Finals. Also no Serena Williams or Naomi Osaka, who missed a lot of time this season. Otherwise, though, these have been the 8 best players in 2021. We're guaranteed to have a new WTA Finals champion for the 6th straight year. Plenty of fresh faces with 6 of the 8 players making their debut at this tournament. And the first group is the stronger one, in my opinion. The 1 seed Aryna Sabalenka leads Group Chichen Itza alongside Maria Sakkari, Igor Sriantek, and Paula Badosa. The other group, Teotihuacan, has the 2 seed Barbara Krejcikova, who's going to be competing in the doubles draw this week too. A couple of experienced veterans in Karolina Plishkova and Garbiñe Muguruza, as well as Annette Kantavite. And every player will play the other 3 women in their group once, with the 2 best players from each quartet advancing to the semifinals. Then we have a 4-player knockout stage to wrap things up. Let's go through a few highlights for each lady this year, starting with Group Chichen Itza. Aryna Sabalenka, the world number 2, had a white-hot start to the year. Back in January, Sabalenka was on a 15-match win streak, and she's been super consistent. Major highlight on the clay when she toppled Ash Barty in the Madrid final. That gave her loads of confidence, but the Belarusian still in dire need of a coming-out party at the Grand Slam level, and that's when she delivered semifinals at both Wimbledon and the US Open. It was great to see her get some exposure on the biggest stage. Sabalenka, a triple threat on all 3 surfaces, and when she's firing on all cylinders, it's a daunting matchup for anyone on tour. Also in this group, Maria Sakkari. Can't say enough about the jump she's made in 2021. This will be her debut at the year-end finals, the first Greek woman ever, and Sakkari so athletic, one of the top movers and defenders on the court. She went on a dazzling run at both the French Open and US Open, semifinals of both of those events, and Sakkari has been quite the giant killer lately. Overall, 7 top 10 wins in 2021. She went back-to-back, upsetting Kvitova, Andreescu, and Plishkova at the US Open, and perhaps her best win of the year back in March over world number 2 Naomi Osaka in blustery conditions in Miami. Next we have Igor Sriantek, who's the first Polish woman to qualify for the WTA Finals since, you guessed it, Aga Radwanska back in 2016. A very consistent season following her big breakthrough last year. Sriantek made at least a round of 16 in all 4 majors in 2021, a couple of titles, including one on her favorite surface of clay in Rome. Disappointed not to defend her Roland Garros title, fell to Sakkari in the quarters there, so we will get that rematch here. But an interesting stat about Sriantek, the best player on tour this season in terms of winning points on her second serve. She's not an overpowering server, but wins over 53% of points on that second serve. And then the 4th player in this group for Paula Badosa, a true breakthrough season for the Spaniard. First time we have 2 Spanish women at this event since 2000 with Conchita Martinez and Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, but Badosa just won her first career WTA title in May in Belgrade, Serbia, and then by far achieved the biggest accomplishment of her young career with the trophy at Indian Wells last month. Knocked off several top players there, including Coco Gauff, Krejcikova, Kerber, Ons Jabeur, and then Vika Azarenka in the final. Badosa coming up with some inch-perfect winners in the clutch moment. She's a big shot maker. And moving over to Group Teotihuacan, Barbara Krejcikova was probably the single biggest shock of the 2021 tennis season. The 25-year-old Krejcikova was on nobody's radar at the start of the year, ranked 65 in the world. In fact, before this season, she had a career singles record of 20-20, and this year alone, she's 44-13. Her ascension has come completely out of nowhere. The Czech won her maiden Grand Slam at Roland Garros, the highlight being a 3-hour marathon over Maria Sakkari in the semis, and then Krejcikova backed that up by winning the French Open doubles championship the same weekend. Her stellar form continued all summer long and into fall, and she will be competing in the doubles draw this week too. Next up is Karolina Plishkova, who at age 29, Plishkova far and away the most experienced player of this group, especially at the WTA Finals in which this is her 5th straight appearance. You think about the consistent names in women's tennis the last 5 years: Serena, Halep, Svitolina, Kerber. Somewhat down years for all of them, but Plishkova still improving her game under coach Sasha Bajin. Came within a set of her first career major at Wimbledon against Ash Barty. And Plishkova, she's always had the offense, but her movement and touch at the net has been greatly enhanced. I like where her game is at. A familiar face, Garbiñe Muguruza. This is the 4th time she'll be appearing at the year-end finals. Only Plishkova with more appearances of these 8 ladies, and numbers-wise, this was by far Mugu's best year since 2017 when she won Wimbledon. 4 finals this season, 2 titles, including a massive one in Dubai. Also claimed victory in Chicago to cap a very busy summer for the 2-time major champ. I can't wait to see Muguruza's power matchup with the huge hitting of Krejcikova and Plishkova, some of the biggest ball strikers in the world, set to face off this week in Mexico. And then to wrap it up, speaking of ball strikers, Annette Kantavite, the first Estonian ever in the top 10 of the WTA rankings. She's made the ultimate turnaround 2.5 months ago on August 17th. She was number 30 in the rankings on a 5-match losing streak, but since then, Kantavite an incredible 26-2, 4 titles in that time span. She only had 1 title coming into this season, but again, 26-2 in her last 28, and all of that coinciding with her hiring of Dmitry Tursunov in the coaching box. So Kantavite, she may be the lowest ranked player at this event, but nobody enters these finals with more momentum and better form. And pulling up the head-to-head records for all 8 ladies against one another, a few things jump out to me with this table. Number 1 is that Plishkova has the best record of the bunch, 18-7 overall, a hefty chunk of those victories coming from her 8-2 record against Muguruza. That was shocking for me to see. Plishkova also 2-0 against Krejcikova, undefeated versus Badosa and Kantavite as well. So it seems to me that Plishkova relishes those matchups against other power players. She fancies her chances when it's offense v offense. So the Czech is going to love how her group shook out. Sabalenka, then the other player here with an excellent record, 13-6. The Belarusian has been a sensational frontrunner this season, 35-3 in 2-set matches. She's been able to break down Sakkari's defense to the tune of a 4-1 record in their battles too, so look out for that matchup. I also can't believe that Sakkari and Kantavite have already met 11 times in their careers. They've played 4 times in 2021 alone, splitting those encounters. We'll see if they can meet again in the semis or perhaps the final. Badosa, the smallest sample size among this octet, and everybody's got their eyes on Annette Kantavite, but just 2-5 against opponents in her group. We'll see if her hot streak can continue. Prediction-wise, in terms of the 4 women I have advancing out of the group, I think Sabalenka is going to be coming out hot, and some good news for her. The top seed is won at 23 of the 50 overall WTA Finals events. They've won the whole thing, but I'm thinking upset-minded right now, so give me Sriantek and give me Badosa out of Chichen Itza. Badosa with 9 come-from-behind wins after dropping the first set to lead the tour this year. Should be slow courts in Mexico, just like Indian Wells, which she just won, so I like her chances. And Sriantek's topspin forehand should be bouncing high with these slow conditions and 5,000 feet of altitude. And then in Group Teotihuacan, I'm definitely going with Plishkova. I just love her record against those other 3 ladies in her group. 2-0 against Krejcikova, 8-2 versus Muguruza, and 3-0 versus Kantavite. And for the last semifinal spot, I'll say that Muguruza does sneak in. Overall, I have no clue who's going to win this whole thing. Like I said earlier, a first-time champ each of the last 6 years. I'm just going to throw a dart in the wind and say that Paula Badosa is your 2021 WTA Finals champ to cap off a Cinderella season for the Spaniard.
And thank you so much for watching my WTA Year-End Finals Preview. Please leave a comment. Let me know who you think will take home the trophy in Guadalajara. Be on the lookout for my other tennis instructional and preview videos as well. If you want more content, please subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media. Cheers!